1. Which instructional approach best supports adults who require autonomy in decision making during learning? A. Teacher centered lecture format. B. Self directed learning pathway. C. Memorization based recall method. D. Fully scripted facilitator instructions. 2. During curriculum development, which step is most critical to ensure alignment with regulatory standards? A. Creating visually appealing slides. B. Mapping objectives to mandated competencies. C. Allowing instructors to modify content freely. D. Encouraging learners to choose topics independently. 3. Which evaluation method provides the highest level of validity for measuring complex performance skills? A. True or false quizzes. Open-ended surveys. C. Scenario-based performance assessment. D. Matching type examinations. 4. What is the most effective communication technique when clarifying competency expectations to adult learners? A. Providing lengthy written explanations. B. Using vague general outcomes. C. Giving clear, measurable learning objectives. D. Allowing learners to interpret outcomes independently. 5. A mentor wishes to improve a trainee's reflective capacity. Which strategy is most effective? A. Assigning additional reading. B. Conducting structured reflection debriefs. C. Reducing mentoring sessions. D. Providing only corrective feedback. 6. Which principle of adult learning explains why learners perform better when allowed to apply concepts to real tasks? A. Adults prefer dependent learning structures. B. Adults rely heavily on rote memorization. C. Adults need immediate relevance and application. D. Adults resist experiential learning. 7. What is the primary purpose of formative assessment in adult training settings? Assign final grades. B. Determine program eligibility. C. Provide feedback to improve learning performance. D. Compare learners to national averages. 8. Which characteristic of an evaluation tool ensures it measures what it intends to measure? Reliability. B. Convenience. Popularity. 9. An instructor adjusting delivery based on learner responses is demonstrating which instructional practice? A. Static teaching. B. Adaptive facilitation. C. Rigid content control. D. Passive observing. 10. Which action best fulfills regulatory compliance during instructional delivery? A. Allowing optional adherence to mandated safety rules. B. Skipping required documentation to save time. C. Ensuring mandatory procedures and reporting are followed accurately. Replacing required protocols with instructor judgment. 11. A mentor modeling a skill before asking the learner to perform it is using which technique? A. Guided participation modeling. B. Unstructured peer coaching. C. Negative reinforcement. D. Independent practice before demonstration. 12. What is the most effective method for evaluating understanding after a high-risk task demonstration? Asking only yes-no questions. B. Observing a return demonstration using a graded rubric. C. Allowing learners to self-evaluate without criteria. D. Assigning unrelated written work. 13. Which curriculum component ensures consistent instruction across different facilitators? A. Personal teaching stories. B. Standardized learning outcomes. C. Freely interpreted guidelines. D. Learner-selected modules. 14. In adult learning, what factor most influences motivation? A. Instructor enthusiasm alone. B. Mandatory attendance requirements. C. Relevance to personal or professional goals. D. Length of the instructional sessions. 15. Which communication method best supports clarity when delivering safety-critical content? A. Rapid delivery to save time. B. Complex explanation without structure. C. Plain language with stepwise instructions. leaving learners to interpret content alone. 16. A program evaluation showing learners met objectives but struggled with application indicates a need to revise. A. Assessment schedule. B. Real-world practice components. C. Course attendance policy. D. Room seating layout. 17. Which mentoring practice most improves long-term skill retention? A. One-time feedback sessions. B. Continuous coaching with periodic skill reinforcement. C. Allowing learners to practice without observation. D. Restricting feedback to written summaries. 18. When designing assessments, which factor ensures fairness across diverse learner groups? A. Cultural neutrality and accessibility. B. Using technical jargon widely. C. Time tests only. Offering one test version. 19. What is the best method to support adult learners with varied prior experiences? A. Ignoring existing knowledge. B. Integrating opportunities to share experience. C. Dictating a single interpretation of concepts. D. Preventing discussion to maintain control. 20. Which regulatory requirement most directly affects record keeping in training programs? A. Instructor preferences. B. Mandated documentation timelines. C. Optional note-taking practices. D. Learner attendance choices. 21. Which approach strengthens learner accountability during skills training? A. Encouraging passive observation. B. Establishing clear performance benchmarks. Avoiding direct practice. D. Eliminating performance standards. 22. An instructor using multiple assessment types aims primarily to increase A. Assessment length. B. Reliability of learner performance data. C. Instructor workload. D. Learner confusion. 23. Which adult learning principle supports giving learners choices in task sequencing? A. Adults prefer strictly ordered instruction. B. Adults require externally imposed structure. C. Adults value self-direction and control. D. Adults cannot manage flexible tasks. 24. When giving corrective feedback, which approach produces the best learning outcomes? A. General criticism without examples. B. Immediate, specific, behavior-focused feedback. C. Delayed comments delivered weeks later. D. Emotional responses from the instructor. 25. Which evaluation format best assesses problem-solving in complex workplace environments? A. Simple recall questions. B. Multiple choice quizzes only. C. Realistic scenario-based assessments. D. Word definition matching. 26. An adult learner showing resistance may benefit most from A. Increased punitive measures. B. Exploring personal learning goals. C. Reducing communication. D. Ignoring their concerns. 27. A curriculum's scope and sequence ensures A. Content is delivered in logical, progressive order. B. Learners receive identical experiences regardless of outcomes. C. Content is taught only if requested by learners. D. Instructors skip foundational skills. 28. Which mentoring technique promotes learner independence? A. Completing tasks for the trainee. B. Gradual release of responsibility. C. Limiting learner involvement. D. Giving commands without explanation. 29. An instructor who uses open-ended questions to guide analysis is promoting A. Surface-level recall. B. Higher-order thinking. C. Avoidance of reflection. Memorization. Regulatory compliance in assessment design requires A. Following legally defined standards and procedures. B. Allowing non-standard scoring. C. Omitting required components. D. Creating assessments based solely on instructor preference. 31. Adult learners retain more information when instruction includes A. Passive lectures only. B. Multisensory and experiential activities. Monotonous repetition. D. Single format delivery. 32. A mentor helping a learner set measurable personal goals supports which developmental function? A. Dependency increase. B. Goal-directed professional growth. C. Reduction of accountability. D. Limiting learner initiative. 33. A training program that evaluates both learning and behavior change reflects which model? A. Single-level testing. B. Kirkpatrick multi-level evaluation model. C. Non-standardized assessment model. D. Summative-only measurement. 34. During instructional communication, verifying learner understanding through paraphrasing is an example of A. Clarifying technique. B. Confrontation strategy. C. Passive listening. D. Directive control. 35. Which curriculum element is essential for linking assessments to instructional objectives? A. Learning outcomes. B. Instructor preferences. Optional enrichment topics. D. Unstructured teaching notes. 36. A facilitator who modifies activities to address different learning styles is applying A. Uniform instruction. B. Differentiated teaching. C. Restrictive content delivery. D. Fixed mentoring protocols. 37. What is the primary purpose of summative assessment? A. Diagnose difficulties during instruction. B. Provide end-of-program performance measurement. C. Allow ongoing instructional adjustments. D. Encourage learner self-reflection only. 38. Adult learners benefit most from feedback that is A. Vague and non-committal. B. Timely, actionable, and aligned to criteria. C. Unrelated to performance standards. D. Excessively detailed without structure. 39. When evaluating training effectiveness, which data source best validates real-world performance transfer? A. Learner satisfaction surveys only. B. Post-training workplace performance metrics. C. Attendance sheets. D. Training room evaluations.